How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be reviewing Carb Backloading 1.0.
Just a reminder, this is our abridged review. For our full text review, please see the link in the description. And in the description, you can also find the discount link to this product.
So today we're going to be covering what is carb backloading, what's good about it, what's not so good about it, and overall what we think about the product.
So on that note, Kale, what exactly is Carb Backloading 1.0?
Carb Backloading 1.0 is what the author calls a manual for total body fat control. So it's primarily intended for people who want to build muscle, people who like to do a lot of resistance training and build muscle and build kind of lean but muscle physiques. It's also for people who want to kind of gain muscle while losing body fat. There are actually two main protocols on this program, and one is designed for people who really want to get as big and strong as they possibly can while gaining minimum amounts of body fat, and there's another protocol for people who want to kind of lean down and lose a lot of body fat while maintaining or even increasing their muscle mass. And those two protocols are actually called density bulking for the people who want to get really big, and strength accumulation for the people who want to get stronger but primarily want to lose fat. And the guy who wrote this book, John Kiefer, he actually goes by Kiefer. He is a physicist, so his kind of educational background and kind of focus on nutrition is a little bit different than a lot of the kind of health and fitness and workout gurus, bodybuilding guys that you are used to seeing, for those who have checked out bodybuilding products or are kind of into that. So he's a physicist by trade. So it offers a very, very scientific, well-supported, very heavily researched product and system that he has created to kind of achieve this.
It all sounds pretty intense. So what's included with the product when you buy it?
So it comes in a huge, Carb Backloading 1.0 is a huge 327-page manual.
Wow!
And it is pretty detailed. And now the main draw of this program that sets it apart from other programs is the fact that he makes all these claims, and what he uses as a secret weapon are carbohydrates, which are by carb backloading. So by carb backloading, he is pretty much putting a system together where resistance training and weightlifting are used to kind of form an ideal hormonal and metabolic state to absorb carbohydrates immediately afterwards, to kind of put your body in a place where it's going to be absorbing all of those carbohydrates you're eating towards muscle growth and not fat growth. So by
how's that work? Just real quick. What's the example?
That's the cool part about this program is kind of how it all works. So basically, it's very scientific because, like I said, he's a physicist. But you go through the day in a lower carbohydrate portion of the day. You hit a hard, grueling resistance training session in the evening, right before a normal dinner time would be, maybe 4 or 5 p.m., to the point where you deplete all your glycogen stores. You work through all of the energy your body pretty much has, and then that leaves lots of space in your muscles for your muscles to absorb all of these carbohydrates. And the fun part is, the carbohydrates that work to refill these the best are the carbohydrates that most people say are the worst carbohydrates for you.
Junk food.
So junk food. So like pizza's great, ice cream, cookies, things like that. Simple sugars.
Wow, awesome.
and things that, I mean, this is like the time you definitely don't want to go for things like whole wheat bread, which has a lower glycemic and insulinic response. All just kind of, it's complicated in science, and he explains it really well in the book, but you want to go for things that seem unhealthy, but it's crazy because you end up the next day, and sometimes your body fat even goes down. It depends on the protocol you're using. Some of them call for backloads every single day, so every evening you're going to be able to eat what you want to eat. And the other one, that's more for the muscle building program, the density bulking. But for the other one, strength accumulation, you're going to kind of backload, maybe 2-3 times a week after your resistance training. Other times you're going to keep it kind of lower carb and generally healthier food.
Wow. So, sounds like an exciting regimen, but what would you say is the worst thing about this product as you reviewed it?
So you're right. It is a very exciting regimen, but it's not so simple as it seems because it's kind of complex and very scientifically based. There's a lot of ducks that need to be in a row before you're able to just kind of eat with reckless abandon like that without negative results. So one thing is you have to eat in a low carb portion during the day, and you have to make sure your body stays, and you have to be strict for this part where your body stays in a low carb phase and pretty much induces ketosis. For those of you who don't know what ketosis is, it's pretty much when your body is so low carb that it forces to make, instead of using energy from carbohydrates, it produces its own form of energy known as ketones to help burn fat and things like that. But that kind of wraparound from ketosis into big insulin spikes following a resistance training is what creates this great anabolic effect and what is, allows you to get away with eating so much. And not only get away with it, but using carbs is like a powerful tool to build muscle quickly, all while really enjoying the foods you love. So it's not really a diet as much as like a dieting hack or a nutritional hack. But so the bad thing about it is that it can be, for people who want a very simple plan, this one's not really that simple in that there are things you need to make sure you're doing correctly. You need to make sure your body's prepped. There's like a preparation phase for like 8 or 10 days if you've never been in ketosis before or anything like that. But it's not necessarily a walk in the park to do this program. You can't just simply walk up and start crushing your favorite foods and expect not to get a little fatter.
But then I guess the best thing would be that
the best thing about it is there's no other program that really says, oh, you can eat whatever you want. Granted, it's in a certain window. You can't eat whatever you want all the time, but you can enjoy things like ice cream and cookies, and that they're even good for the results you want. A lot of in bodybuilding circles, there's something they commonly call bulking and cutting, which bulking is when you eat a lot of food and you put on muscle, and you also put on fat, and then afterwards you cut and you just diet off the fat.
Right.
This is a superior version to that in that you can bulk and do a quote-unquote dirty bulk, as in bulk with not only a lot of food, but a lot of kind of whatever food you want. And you can kind of do it without gaining fat.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do the cut, and you can just kind of, just bulk and lean bulk. And it's I've really liked this program. It's a lot of fun to do. Being able to eat those kinds of things multiple times a week. When I did it, I did the strength accumulation. I wasn't carb backloading every day, but I was losing fat while I was doing this. So I would hit a workout, and I would go nuts until I couldn't eat anymore, and then I slept great because I was always full. I was never hungry or anything like that, even though I was technically losing fat week after week after week. So it's a really cool program, but it's not simple, is my point. The science takes a little bit to grasp. It's an in-depth manual, but there's a lot of scientific research. So overall, I would say it's a really good program, as long as you know what you're getting yourself into. As long as you know that it's going to take a little bit of, you're definitely going to have to read through this manual. You're going to want to understand what's going on with your body before you start just carb backloading.
But reading alone won't make you stronger. You have to actually do it.
Exactly too. You also have to have a resistance training workout that fits in with the carb backloading. You can't just go, vacuum your house or walk around the block and then just eat, 34 pancakes and be like, yeah, I'm carb backloading, man. It's no big deal. No, you need to make sure all these things are fitting.
How'd you know that was my method?
Because that's what I would do too. Pancakes are awesome.
Yeah.
So it's not a cop-out. It's not a free-for-all to eat whatever you want. It's very effective and a very interesting and fun program, but you have to be willing to follow the program to do it. You have to be willing to do the right resistance training, be in the right metabolic state before the carb backload and things like that. But if that's something you think you can do, and if that's something that sounds good to you, and if you're kind of a science nerd like I am about biomechanics and hormonal fluctuations and situations in the body and stuff like that, I think this is a really, really good book. And there are lots of forums out there that'll agree with me.
Sounds good. Well, that about does it for our Carb Backloading 1.0 review. Just a reminder that you can find our full review in the link in the description. In the description, you can also find the discount link to this product. And if you like what you see, please subscribe.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Hey, hey.